All right, well, fellas, we're here. It's about the middle of the season. We're going to do a playoff preview, a segment here, have some fun, look into what's going to happen, maybe get our feel for it. Taking a look, we want to kind of look back quickly at the initial projections from Yahoo. I don't know if you guys had any thoughts from that, that you had where we're at today versus where it was initially, but
I think it's interesting. Like you look back, I always kind of call it the curse of Yahoo. I remember my second year in the league, I was projected to win, but that was the year I got the Sacco. Kind of set things in motion for me. So I was a little nervous for Jake when he came out super strong in the Yahoo projections. To me, that's always kind of like the kiss of death. But so far, he's held strong. He was initially projected to go 14-0. He's still projected to finish really, really high in the ranks there. Really, probably the most surprising one, maybe the kiss of death, was the preseason survey that we did where Zach Lane was the top voted to win the championship this year. And he's had a lot of tough matchups. He's still put up good points every week for the most part. He's just lost in a lot of close matchups, and he finds himself at 1-6. And that's how quickly these projections can change. I don't think any of us put a whole lot of stock in the Yahoo projections, but it's just interesting to see how that has changed as the first half of the season here.
What's interesting about what you just said is obviously you look at those teams, right? And Jake is 5-2. He's in second place. He's doing great. And Zach is 1-6. Last place, not doing good. But now Zach has all of Jake's players.
Yeah.
So this could be interesting. And Jake has all of Zach's players. He's starting Najee Harris this week. That's wild. Didn't think I was going to see that happen. So this is interesting.
Yeah, and if you think about where we're projected, if you look at where Yahoo's current projections are today, obviously take it for what it's worth, take it with a grain of salt. But Yahoo, as my brother, has Zach finishing in 7th place before going into the playoffs here, at 6-8. So they're projecting he's about to go on a 5-game win streak, win 5 out of the next 7, which I thought was really funny. I thought there was no chance that was going to happen when I looked at it. But when I looked at who he's playing over the next 7 weeks, he only has one matchup against somebody who's currently in the top 6. Every other matchup is against the bottom half of the play. But
Yahoo did also say he was going to go 12-2, so we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. But like you said, he has all of Jake's players now.
He does.
He has a lot of. Yeah, he has a lot of good things going for.
For a lot of people who are fighting for playoff spots,
agreed.
He's going to help determine that for sure.
Yeah. Cool. Really the other ones that stick out, obviously Walker and I have had rougher starts to the year. They projected both of us in the playoffs early on, but Yahoo's still projecting that Walker and I both finish 7-7. I think it's going to be really tight. I think we felt like the league was getting a little top heavy to start the year, but I think as we go through apocalypse over the next few weeks here, we'll see things start to even back out to kind of what we're used to in the league, and that we'll have, I think, at least 10 people with a real shot to make the playoffs when we come down to the end of it here.
Yeah, it is interesting that Yahoo's 10th, 11th, and 12th place team is the same. From the beginning of the season to now, they project Cobra, Kyler, Cool Runnings, Bozier Against the World to be the bottom 3 teams. The order changes, but those are the bottom 3 teams.
Yep. Bozier and Alex are the ones projected to have the biggest falls at the moment, and I see it with Bozier. Alex, I think, still has a legitimate shot to make a run here. So.
And Ryan, they've got Ryan winning one more game the entire season. That's ridiculous. Yahoo's trash, dude. There's no way. There's no way. All right, moving on. Yahoo's out, bro.
Well, there are just some interesting things. Like, if we're going to start looking the rest of the way here, when you're looking at who's going to score the most points, I don't think it's any surprise that Yahoo thinks that Jake's team is going to score the most points the rest of the way. But there are some weird things there. So, like, it really does see Woody's Roundup and Not My Chubby, like, coming down quite a bit from the level that they're currently at. But then you're looking at Roger Goodell, and Prison Mike, the Lane Bros. It sees them coming out strong here this second half. So it's going to be interesting to see how that kind of pans out too.
Well, I think if you look at just like over the last 5 weeks, what teams are putting up in points, just over the last run rate with a lot of the moves that have happened, I was a little surprised myself. Right now, over the last 5 weeks, Jake, no surprise to anyone, Jake is scoring the most points, averaging 118 a game. I'm averaging the second most points over the last 5 weeks at 110. Third is Ryan. And fourth is Travis, but my brother is right there in the midst of everyone else, averaging 101, 102 points a game. Right in there, he's ahead of Rob. He's ahead of Bozier, and he's just below Austin, in total points average. So it's going to be interesting how these matchups really start to play out because it is pretty tight in there. Really, the two that are averaging the fewest points, unfortunately, Walker to you and then Zach Tinsley. So it'll be interesting to see how that kind of plays out as close as everyone is scoring in points.
Yeah, I think almost everyone is still alive right now. I think there's a handful of teams that are separated, that are I mean, no one's guaranteed yet, but we're getting kind of to that point where it's like, okay, these teams are going to be in the playoffs. We'll see where at, but they're going to be in there. And then there's some spots up for grabs. I think the matchup this week between David and Ryan is huge because I think potentially then you're going to have 4 teams that are starting to separate. But then from like 5 to 11, if Austin can pull out a win this week, I mean, it's crazy. And I think that's going to be a lot of fun.
12. I think 5 to 12, man. I don't think you can count out anyone.
I'm counting Taco out, bro. I'm counting.
Well, it's interesting.
If he gets another loss, then we can start to count him out. But if he doesn't, it'll be because another key matchup then is every single week for Taco because if he loses,
that's true.
He's going to be in trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if he pulls it out, especially this week against Jake,
go ahead.
If he pulls it out, especially this week against Jake, where he just has everything flowing his way. He puts himself back, I think, into contention a little bit. Obviously, every game matters. He has no games where he can not – even if he loses, he has to score a lot of points in order to stay relevant.
It's so hard, though, in fantasy football to never have a bad week. So that's just where I stand on that.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. He just cannot miss. He can't miss. He essentially is going to have to this. Look, here's Taco right now. This is what I'm talking about. This is like when it's week 14 and they throw up that the Bears are still in the hunt. If all the other teams lost the last 4 games and the Bears won the last 4, like he's in the hunt, all right? Yeah. Like, but the thing he has going for him is it is really starting to feel like I am of the opinion that a team with a 500 or sub 500 record is going to get in, and that does play in his favor. I think that everybody's just going to beat up on each other.
Sometimes people just have a knack for making the playoffs, though. So, we're looking back at some of the league historical data, and if we're looking at guys who've been in the league for longer than 5 years, what's the rate that they make the playoffs at? My brother's actually up there in the pack. He's averaging, he makes the playoffs 50% of the time. Some surprising notes below him. Zach Tinsley's only made the playoffs 44% of the time. Alex has only made the playoffs 33% of the time that he's been in the league. Bozier has only made the playoffs 22% of the time. Ryan's only made it 25% of the time. And for obviously our fallen comrade Travis Brock never made the playoffs in his 5 years in the league. So sometimes people just have a knack for fighting their way into the playoffs, and especially with Zach, if you look at it, his first 4 years were atrocious in the league, but his last 4, he started to get it back together. So we'll see if he has some of that magic left for this season. It's not looking in his favor.
Zach has a knack for making the playoffs, but then there's 12 people in our league, and you name 3 people below him.
4 people below him.
I don't know if that's a knack. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I mean, maybe. I don't know. I've been awful hard on Taco this year. I know that. But I'm just looking at it. I don't believe in it. I just don't
Well,
believe
it
it.
feels like we're starting to eliminate kind of one team, or like a lot of the talk has become the taco show somehow. But
That's
there's
true.
3 teams
Yeah.
on top that I do want to get to because you're talking about a playoff preview. I do want to just quickly go
Yeah.
through the 3 teams I think are going to be a lock, and maybe you guys agree, maybe you don't. But number 1, we got "Oh Fill My Cup." I kind of drew this magic line at 8 wins. Like if you got 8 wins, I'm pretty confident you're getting in. So that leaves "Oh Fill My Cup" with getting 2 more wins. To me, he's got 2 teams he plays against. He plays against myself, Asset Playground, and against Bozier, against the World, that I feel like if he wins those 2 games, he's in, right? Then you got Assault and Battery. He's at 5 wins, so he needs 3 more to get in. He's got Cool Runnings, and he's got Cobra Kyler, but he's also projected to score the most the rest of the way. And maybe he can win this week against Taco, send Taco out, put himself in. Maybe that happens this week. We'll see. So I have that as one of my key matchups. And then the final team is "This World Is Not Mahomes." Travis also sitting at 5 wins and needing 3 more. You've got Cool Runnings, Cobra Kyler, and myself on the schedule. So you win those 3, you're in, and you're projected to score the second most of anyone remaining. So I think you've got a good shot at going in. Those are my 3 that I think are locked in and are going to make it. I'm not sure the order. They might not finish 1, 2, 3, but they're going to be in.
Yeah,
And I think
I like that you lump yourself in with other teams that you think aren't very good.
Oh yeah, that's
I think
for
that's
sure.
really funny. I just think it's really funny because I don't think that's true at all. I think yours is on the come up. I think you got a squad. I think McCaffrey gets settled in out there. I think them boys can play. Deshaun's coming. I think you're going to be in good shape. I look at it. The one thing that I thought was interesting, because I was looking at, okay, who do I think is going to jump up and get in? And we've talked a lot the last couple of weeks. Austin has the 3rd most points scored of anyone, and he's only like 2 points behind me. Like he's almost in 2nd point scored. And I started looking at his schedule. I was like, okay, maybe he can go on a run. And then the last 4 games, I don't know the order, but he plays Rob, Jake, me, and Ryan. That's how he finishes the season. And that is a wall to go through when you're 2-4 or 2-5. That ain't it.
Yeah, real quick before I let Kamish jump in, I have the most projected points against the rest of the way, as you guessed it, Austin's team. I mean, this guy can't catch a break. He's going to have the most points scored against him again. It's just the way it is. But do you have any thoughts?
Some people have a knack for that.
Yeah, some people do. I hate it for him, but not really. And if we're looking at the top 3 guys that are projected, I think, pretty easily to make the playoffs, historically, that's been the case.
I don't hear you, Nick.
Been able to make it.
But actually, I do
Travis,
realize
in
I
his
just made a
6
mistake
seasons in
there.
the league so far,
The most
has
points
never
scored
missed
the rest of the
playoffs.
way. And Trump gives me a thumbs up
Rob
if you can hear
and
me.
Jake
The rest of the
both have
way
a good knack
is
for making
not
the playoffs
my
too, so it'll be
Chubby,
interesting to
actually,
see
and then
if
Austin
that
number
locked up,
2.
how it
So maybe
actually plays
Ryan
out at the end,
actually
because
has
for all the years that Travis,
so he's been doing well. Not my Chubby, but he's got a tough schedule coming up as well.
He's back. Nick's back.
Say something, Nick.
not Lucy.
Yeah, we got
there we
you.
go.
Sorry about
Well,
that.
here's
guys.
something interesting that our statisticians put together there that we found out. Not my Chubby, Ryan's team, Ryan Long. Here's my opinion of this squad right here. Ryan, if the new Ryan manages this team, I want to put them as a lock. But I haven't seen the new Ryan long enough. He needs to hang around. He needs to be here. And if he attends to this, he'll be in. That's my opinion. But I don't know. I don't know what Ryan's going to be here.
So the stat that that Nick gave us before the show, I don't know if you were about to say it.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Ryan hasn't made – he's the longest run of not making the playoffs. He hasn't made the playoffs since 2017. That's a long time ago.
Yeah, and just behind him, Alex, since the season he won in 2018, has not made the playoffs. And those are 2 guys that are right now in the top 6. So it'll be interesting to see if they can beat those droughts and make it into the playoffs.
That's fun stuff. I don't know. I like Ryan to kind of he has rebranded himself, at least in the short term, and I think jumping in the playoffs, he establishes himself in a different light. And man, I like this squad. He's just got running backs. Who has running backs? Ryan.
Yeah.
Well, Nick has running backs now too. We'll see
how
how
it
it
goes.
goes. Ryan's have just been ridiculous.
You know,
Yeah,
so
that was the first
that kind
half.
of brings me.
To the second half.
We can dive into, I think, one question while we're on this topic from the midseason survey is new Ryan here to stay? What does the league think? So we look at the projections. We had 3 options here: yes, no, but either way, he needs to go back to Ryan's team. I'm a personal believer in. I hope new Ryan's here to stay, but he needs to change his team name back to Ryan's team. Something just doesn't feel complete in the league without Ryan's team. But the rest of the league is pretty divided. The rest of the league is pretty divided. We got, of the 11 total responses, we got 3 people who think new Ryan is here to stay, 3 people who don't think new Ryan is fake, and we got 3 people who put other random answers, including Ryan himself, who put "this is my league." So maybe I guess we'll count that as a vote for him. And we also had another interesting response that thought it was nude Ryan. So I don't know who's thinking about new Ryan versus nude Ryan, but
Take a survey on that.
We'll take a survey on who put that one as the response. So yeah, interesting to see how Ryan's new persona is going to impact his rest of the season here.
Well, why don't you give us a breakdown of the? Oh yeah, go ahead.
He seems to me to be much more engaged. But yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Commish. Bring it.
We want to go down through the midseason survey now?
Let's do it.
All right. So we can run through the results here. I only got 11 responses. I don't know who didn't submit it, but your opinion no longer matters. So for the first question, probably Alex, yeah. For the first question, who's going to win the championship? Midseason survey, 6 of the 11 votes have voted Bellwood to win the championship. The other ones, the second person getting the most votes is Rob with 3. And then we have Travis getting 1 vote and Walker getting 1 vote. So
I'm not even going to make it. So whoever
talk about a
You
compare
know I voted
contrast.
for me, and you know Jake picked Walker.
You compare and contrast that to the beginning of the year. We saw that.
Did I hear you, Nick? You said 6 for Bellwood. Did I hear? Was that the kiss of death?
It might
Is that
be.
what I heard? I don't know. I'm not sure. I heard something in the background.
Yeah, because if you look at it from the very preseason survey, Zach Lane was the one who's projected to win the championship out of this preseason survey. So, and now they've swapped teams. You know, it's interesting.
That's funny. That is funny.
There's a lot of things, a lot of interesting things happening between those 2 team managers there.
Oh man,
All right,
it's not good.
so moving down the list, we'll just hop to who's projected to get the Sacco, who thinks going to get the Sacco. This one is a little more evenly divided. So of the 11 votes, Zach Lane's projected was given 4 votes. Zach Tinsley was given 4 votes. Bozier was given 2 votes, and Austin was given 1 vote. Which, you know, I think all 4 of those teams don't make the playoffs. But I think there's a couple of these teams, namely Zach and Austin, that could do some damage in the Sacco bracket. That not going to put themselves in a position just by the amount of points that they can put up each week. So it'd be interesting to see how that plays
that's
out.
a 2-horse race. That's Bozier versus Tinsley all the way to the final
agree.
bell.
I agree. Which, you know, we can then hop into the second question on the survey: worst trade of the year so far. Unsurprisingly, Bozier was involved in the ones getting the most votes. For the worst trade of the year, getting 6 of the 11 votes was Travis and Bozier's Mahomes deal. Second place.
Shocking that I would be involved in the worst trade. No one talks about Bellwood. Whatever.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Second worst, getting 2 votes, was myself and Bozier for the Mark Andrews deal.
voted for
Third,
that was terrible.
getting 1 additional vote is Travis and Zach Tinsley, the Adam Thielen, DJ Moore, all of Zach's fab trade, which for me, I almost marked that as my response, but I didn't, because I just find it ironic that fab was what bought you Kenneth Walker, who you then traded back to Zach at the end of all of that playing
Just
out.
Terrible management.
And we got two other people who wrote in their own answer. One person put the David and Travis Tom Brady for DJ Shark deal, which to me feels a little irrelevant at this point. And then we have another classic, your mom was the worst trade of the year.
I mean, it is kind of classic. That was pretty good.
So we keep going through the survey here. Do you guys have any initial reactions to those results?
I mean, the thing is, it's not the people like Travis and Jake and Nick. It's not their fault that you guys give them these terrible trades. It's your fault. Whoever's listening to this, it's your fault that these trades happen. It's not their fault. So, Taco, you should stop complaining and start complaining to the rest of the league. Because it's literally, I don't know why these people are so dumb that they trade good players for nothing, but it is part of this league.
To be fair, Adam Thielen has significantly outperformed DJ Moore this season.
I don't want to hear you defend anything about
I mean, he has. That's just the truth.
Nah, dude.
No, it'd be interesting to see though. I mean, obviously my Mark Andrews J-Rob trade has got some hate, but J-Rob may be back in a really strong position now. Might be the RB1.
I sure hope so.
Bro, that was a trash trade. I don't know why you would do that if you were Bozier, but it's not your fault.
Yeah, we won't
He
get
offered
into the
it.
details. Yes. All right. So the next question: who in the bottom six will ultimately make the playoffs?
I want to know. Hold on, I got one quick question. I want to know
Yeah.
when are people going to offer me these terrible trades so I can have a better team.
You gotta
You
seek
got to
them
work
out.
for them.
See,
You gotta let people know that your squad is willing to negotiate.
And you also have the solid policy not to negotiate with terrorists. That's why you don't see me and Travis trading each other.
Yes.
I don't negotiate with terrorists.
I traded you, bro. You call so at least you not
I'm
calling
not
me a
talking about you. I
terrorist.
think our trade was pretty fair. All right.
Nah, you sent me
Fourth-
a terrible trade and I accepted
You
it.
think Nick's? How many times do you think Nick said that this season after he made a trade? Hey man, I think it was really fair.
It was. All right.
All right.
For where we were in the year, yeah. All right. Fourth question.
Saquon
Who
and
in the-
JT, they've had pretty similar seasons. That's a good point.
It's about
it
the
was
second
what,
half
week
of the
3,
year,
week
bro.
4? We'll see what happens. At the end of all this, we get to the end of the year, we could be
There's
really
plenty of
flipping
time
our...
for all of this to change.
For sure.
There's plenty of time for that.
All right. Fourth question. Who in the bottom six will ultimately make the playoffs? Of the 11 results, I was voted 7 times, which hopefully that's not my kiss of death. Bozier got 1 vote, Walker got a vote, Tinsley got a vote, and Austin got a vote. Unsurprisingly, Taco did not get a vote. How do you guys feel about that? Any surprises?
I
I think
think
there will
that-
be more than one team.
I think there's 2. I think 2 teams that aren't in the top 6 right now are going to make it. I shared earlier, I originally was going to say Austin until I saw the way his schedule lines up, and I think there's too much to overcome there. But I actually think both of you are going to make the playoffs. I think, yeah, and we'll get to the rest later, but on who I think's coming out of there. But I think both of y'all are going to make it, and I really hope I have a bye.
So it's interesting if you look at the next question was who in the top 6 will ultimately miss the playoffs. Out of the 11 responses, David got 5 votes and Alex got 5 votes. And then Ryan got 1 vote. So the rest of the league tends to think that there's 2 guys that are going to miss the playoffs and that are currently in the top 6 as well.
Yeah, those would be my 2. I don't know. David's just on this magical run. I don't know.
So there's one comment is before. I think I put Austin, by the way, to make the playoffs. but after doing this analysis, I don't think I would. And then I think I may have voted Dave. I don't know. Initially, I thought those two guys probably wouldn't make the playoffs. But after doing this, David has the easiest schedule remaining by far, as far as points against that's going to be scored against them. He's the lowest by far. So I actually think he makes it based on that. So kind of my logic and thinking's changed. And then, with Ryan having the most points scored against remaining, I'm kind of like, well, maybe it's Ryan that falls off. But I still think two people fall out, two people go in.
So you think everybody thinks Alex is out on this panel? Is that right?
Yeah.
I think it's close, but
we'll see. Nick hasn't shared. Share, Kamish.
I think we're running through that at the end, aren't we? On who makes the playoffs?
Yeah,
I don't know. We can
just we can wait.
Yeah, a little bit.
I'm not supposed to do that.
I don't think Alex makes the cut ultimately. I do think that he is right there on the fringe, but misses it. I think the Breece Hall injury hurt him. He was getting into a pretty solid position.
But ETN,
but ETN may be real. We'll see. It
was ETN and D-Hop. I don't know.
Was Cobra Kyler on the list of people who could win the Sacco?
No.
That we could vote for? Because I would have voted for him, to be honest.
He should have been on
His team's so
His team's terrible. His team's terrible.
All right. So the next question was, who was the best waiver wire pickup of the year? I don't think any surprises here. It's Kenneth Walker. I think there was a lot of hype about him going into the year, but he was still sharing time. But ultimately, once he came onto the scene, he's proven out to be an RB1. To me, the funniest thing about that pickup is obviously the FAAB dollars that Zach traded away to Travis, enabled Travis to get him, and then he was able to work that deal out for Kenneth Walker. So it's going to be interesting to see how the rest of the year plays out from that trade in particular.
Why would you say that's such a bad trade then? If Zach has the greatest player anyone's picked up the entire season.
Well, that's the thing. Like at the moment in time, it felt like a risk because Walker hadn't proven him.
He did get drafted.
He did.
Cobra Kyler cut him the week before he became the guy.
Smart. I wonder why he's wearing Sacco.
The question 8: who's the best manager of the year so far? So drafting, trades, roster management, managing the waivers. Of the 11 votes, or of the 11 total respondents, Travis Stouffer got 8 votes. So I know we all
people thought that. I'm shocked they would vote that way.
So we all give Travis a lot of hate apparently, but everyone's giving him some respect on the DL when it's anonymous here. So yeah, we'll see how this plays out.
Thanks,
also
guys.
Getting votes.
Backhanded compliment. Hold on.
No, it's fine. I voted for him. That's all.
Also getting votes were Rob with 1 vote, Jake with 1 vote, and David Smith with 1 vote. All right. Most surprising player so far through 2022. We got a pretty wide range of players here. But I'll just say everyone was wrong besides me. It's Josh Jacobs. No one thought Josh Jacobs was going to have this kind of year. But I was going to want to put him. Other responses were all of Travis's players. Ramondre Stevenson, who's had a pretty strong year. We had a couple people who didn't understand the question and put David Smith. And a few other not good answers.
That was a good answer. If we're talking about managers.
Yeah. No, from a manager's perspective, that's good. This is more about the players, though. But I still stand by the opinion that the real answer here is Josh Jacobs. I drafted him just because I thought he was going to get some decent workload, but dude is the RB4. Nobody would have thought that.
If he's the RB4 at the end of the season, I'm with you. But through 7 weeks, I'm not sold. CEH, dude. CEH is literally the reason that I am in the position I'm in.
Yeah,
which is absurd.
CEH also got a vote there, too. Yeah, we'll see.
I wonder who voted for him.
Most underwhelming player this year so far. So we got a couple votes 3 votes for Jonathan Taylor. I think that was my vote as well. But we're also seeing Allen Robinson, Akers, Matt Ryan is on the list. Najee is on the list. All guys who have had pretty good projections coming into the year that have just not performed to the expectations.
Cam Akers.
Actually, there was another guy that I forgot about till just now, and that was Cortland Sutton. I thought he was going to have a really good season, but he's trash, dude. I mean, it's really not his fault because Russell Wilson's the problem.
It's the Russell Wilson problem, man. That's that's
Nobody
probably
put
if
Russell
it wasn't for
Wilson.
JT that he would Russell Wilson be my vote. I had some pretty high hopes on Russ coming into the year, but clearly wrong. Just not a great decision.
Yeah. Well, do you think it's a better decision to keep him on your bench?
I mean, I'm just trying to play the matchups each week, so it's rough.
It's tough sledding.
Yeah,
I would say the best player, actually, I should have put him, Deshaun Watson. I think he's the best player out there this year.
we'll find out in a couple weeks here. We'll see what happens to Walk's team. Does that maybe
Did you guys see yesterday that LeBron said he no longer supports the Cowboys because Jerry Jones didn't let him take a knee for the anthem, but now he's a Browns fan and now he cheers for Deshaun Watson. I just thought that was pretty cool.
He's an idiot. He would win the Sacco if he were in this league.
There's not a double standard in Hollywood at all.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. All right. So we can
Yeah.
get to our final segment here. Why don't we just run down through the list? We'll just read off name by name, and we can all give our projection, thumbs up, thumbs down. Do they make the playoffs?
Yep.
All right,
Sounds
cool.
good.
I can kick it off. I'll read the name. I'll let each of you guys go, and then I'll read if I think they get in or not. So we're going to go in the order of Yahoo's current projections to get into the playoffs. Let's do our current projections or current standings as they stand right now. We'll start it that way.
And do you want to just read the top three and we all give our thumbs up since y'all agree with me that there were 3 locks? Or?
Yeah, I think that's fair. Personally, all right, Rob, Jake, and Travis. Does everyone feel they're getting into the playoffs?
Yep.
Yeah. So there's 3 of the 6 spots that at least this panel believes is locked up.
By the way, can I take a minute and just tell everyone thank you? I appreciate your support and your votes. Y'all are nice people. You're good friends.
Hey, man, you're the best midseason manager ever.
It don't matter. We know how this story ends.
Yeah.
See you boys in the championship for my second place trophy.
Travis has averaged the highest position finished in the league and has never won a championship.
I also have the highest winning percentage in the league. Never won a championship.
It's what you get in the playoffs. It's all that matters.
Silly, man.
Do you win when it
Choke
matters?
Choke artist. I know what it is.
All right, so we'll keep going down the list here. Currently, right now, in 4th place is Not My Chubby Ryan's team. Do we think Ryan gets into the playoffs at the end of the year?
I'm in.
I think Ryan does. I think Ryan makes it.
Nope. New
Currently
Ryan.
in 5th place.
Old Ryan.
All right, currently in 5th place, David, say my name. Does David make the playoffs? I think yes.
If David wins this week, my opinion will change, but I'm out on David.
All right. Currently in 6th place, Cobra Kyler, Alex. Does Alex make the playoffs? Big thumbs down for me, too.
2 thumbs down over
If
there.
I had 3 thumbs, I would do it.
7th place, Bozier against the world. Does Bozier make the playoffs when it matters? No. Yeah.
Oh, shoot.
My opinion 3 weeks ago would have been different, but yeah. All right. 8th place, Roger Goodell. Do I make the playoffs? I think I scratched my way in. I have some matchups I'm not thrilled about at the back half of the season.
I think you get to play. I think you and Walker both play David. I think those are important games.
And I play Zach the last game of the regular season, and he could play spoiler for me at the end of the year too. So it'll be interesting how that plays out. All right. 9th place currently, Acid Playground. Does Walker make the playoffs?
Yep.
I got no. I just think there's too many
I'm
up
not
and
answering.
down weeks.
Let's see it.
Not answer.
Oh, dude, 2 thumbs up. Easy.
That,
You
baby.
making it?
Winning the
All right,
league.
all right.
Somebody voted for me, so that means we're winning, baby. Whoever
10th
put me,
place.
let's go.
Cool runnings. Cool runnings. Does
No.
Tinsley make the playoffs?
Playoffs? No.
I think he misses. I don't know. If Kenneth Walker keeps tearing it up, we'll see. He could play some spoiler, but just, there's some gaps all over that.
Kenneth Walker can tear up whatever he wants, dude. He needs another Kenneth Walker.
Fair enough. Currently in 11th place, Woody's Roundup. Can Austin pull it out, make a run, and get to the playoffs?
I think he'll outscore everybody. But, nah, man.
No,
Yeah.
I think he's out as well. And currently in 12th place, Prison Mike, Zach. Can Zach Lane make a run for the playoffs here?
He can make a
This
run
is-
for the playoffs.
Where's
but he
my
ain't gonna
third
make it.
thumb, dude?
Here's the
He
thing.
can make
I
a
don't think-
run, but he ain't gonna. Yeah, I'm with that.
I don't think Zach stands a chance to make the playoffs right now, but I do think that in that final bracket, non-championship side of the bracket, Zach could easily do what Walker did last year and go from 12th place regular season and finish in 7th at the end of the year. I think if his team pulls
I
it
could
together,
I could get behind that kind of statement.
yeah.
I can get behind this. Who cares?
No,
We got 7.
yeah. No Sacco, but no championship, no playoffs.
I agree. I do not think. I will say this about Taco. I do not think he will win the Sacco. No way. No way.
All right, guys. So I think there's obviously some disagreements in the last 3 guys that make the playoffs here. So it'll be an interesting season to see how we finish out here. So, again, it's been a lot of fun so far this year. I think everyone is really engaged. It's been really fun to all the work that you two do and Zach does, putting the videos out every week. It's been a lot of fun. So cool.
Hey, question before we go. We'll go to Walker first, then the commissioner. Walker, who's winning the league?
This is mid-season, but if I had to guess, Asset Playground.
All right. Commish, who's winning the league?
I think Rob.
Well, I'm picking me, so let's get it, baby.
I think Rob pulls it out. Cool. All right. See you guys.
See ya.